What is happening, everybody? I'm really excited to bring this next training to you this week. If you are new here, we are on a mission to provide the best content out there for wedding professionals, for growing your wedding business. Now, this week we are focusing on how to maximize your ROI on social media and cut through the noise by using this simple timeless strategy. And that's exactly what this is. This is a timeless strategy. When you see it, you might even think of it as a no-brainer, but it is something that works and it will forever work, no matter what happens with social media, because it's based in such foundational principles. Not only are we going to share with you the strategy on how you can cut through the noise, but we're also going to show you exactly how you can get started today and some action items to get rolling. So with that, let's dive into it. Here's what we are going to cover. Number one, we're going to show you what most people are doing that's not working. This might be you right now, and that's okay, because we're going to show you what you should be doing. Hint, it's helping. We focus on a value-first model. Everything that we do with our campaigns and our clients and in our businesses, everything that we focus on is value first. So we're going to talk about that and exactly what you should be doing with some examples and all of that. Then, if you follow through to the end, we're going to basically show you exactly how to start implementing this strategy so you can start seeing results, which you definitely will after you start implementing this. Let's get started. So, here is what most people are doing online. They are basically posting an ad that says, "Look at me. Hey, these are my services. This is what I do. Come book with me. Check it out." They're basically just posting, "Look at me, look at me." Well, guess what? Everybody else is also posting that. All the ads in their feed, everyone's saying, "Hey, come look at me." And I think this is the number one issue that we see in businesses. This isn't just marketing. This is in general. This is not the approach or the mindset in any way that we need to take. We don't just promote our business and say, "Hey, look at us." It's not bad to do that, and there's the time and place for it. But there is something that you should be doing. And this is the mentality that you should bring here. One of my favorite movies, Space Jam, so I had to throw in this reference here. But how can I help you, right? This is our jobs. We are in business to solve problems. That's what people pay us for, to solve problems. They don't solve us because because they like us. They don't pay us because, they want to and they could use our services. They pay us to solve problems. And when we can attach our value to the problems we're solving, we'll be able to charge more money. We'll be able to make sales much, much easier and smoother, because it's not about just you. It's about the customer. And how can we focus on the customer? We can solve their problems. Guess what? The weddings are a bear cat. We all know how scary weddings can be for brides and how overwhelming they are and how expensive they are and all these things, right? There's so much stress surrounding this. Well, as vendors and professionals in the industry, our job is to make that day better for them, easier, faster, smoother, less stressful, right? To answer their questions that they need answered, so that they can have the greatest day of their life, right? That's what everything should be focused on. How can we make this day better for them? Again, easier, smoother, less stressful, more affordable, right? You can save them money by making better decisions and not wasting money on things. So this is the mentality that we're going to focus on. And throughout other trainings that you'll notice as well, this is something that we focus on. How can we provide value? So what does this actually look like? Here's an example of a campaign we run for a jewelry company. They were running just general ads, wanted to focus on people who were engaged. Their content was just kind of showing off, who they were and what they had to offer. But then we flipped the script and we were able to severely increase their traffic to their site, and traffic to their business as well, by flipping the script. Here are 7 things you need to consider before you buy an engagement ring, right? 7 things you need to know. We've blurred out the client here, but you can see This now, we even sponsored it because it was so valuable that we put money behind it, and that's where we really saw the difference, and we'll dive into that a little bit later. But this value first, this doesn't look like an ad coming through someone's feed. This doesn't look like a promotion coming through someone's feed, no matter where it is, right? It's valuable because when they click into this article, this is actual valuable information. This is things that you need to know. I know for a fact, before I bought my ring, there's so many things to think about. I don't know what a good ring looks like. I don't know anything about cuts, about diamonds. I know that I should know these things. I don't know where to buy or if I'm going to get ripped off, right? All of these things. Well, guess what? These 7 things fill those out. And what this does is this builds trust with the brand. So they click on this article, they're reading through this, and they're going, okay, wow, make sure that they have insurance, make sure that they can cover me. I know about, the 4 C's, to learn about all these things. And guess what? I'm building trust. I'm building brand affinity. I'm starting to realize that, this company knows what they're talking about. They're a trusted resource because I'm on their website now, and I'm able to, learn more about them, and I'm much more likely to click because as they disrupt me, right? This is disruptive marketing. For the most part, this is, people aren't looking to see us when they get on social media, but they're looking for information and things that they're interested in. So they're much more likely to click on this. I'm going to show you a few more examples. This is why if you go to any of the major companies that have big marketing budgets and spending a lot of money, this is exactly what they're doing. And it's called content marketing, right? The knot. 10 things you need to know before you go wedding dress shopping, right? Brides are going to click on this. They're going to engage with it because this is things they want to know. Here's another one. Don't make these mistakes at your wedding, right? These music mistakes. Music is a big deal in people's wedding. For any DJs out there, people who are getting married, need guidance on these things. Well, you can provide that guidance as we're making our purchasing decisions, right? Because most people are doing their research online before they're making their decisions. If you become that trusted expert, you are going to be the valuable resource. They're more likely to do business with you now. If you're pumping out good content that's providing value to them, and you're really building up your expertise, your trust, and all of these things. Another example, The Wire, right? The best places to propose in Dallas and Fort Worth. Again, maybe these big companies are making some of these. That doesn't mean that you can't make one, especially locally, right? People are looking for local trustworthy experts. There's plenty of people producing this great content outside, but if they see a local business that's providing really good content information to them, they are going to do business with that company, right? And the greatest thing is we can go to these companies, and we'll talk about this in just a second, but we can go to these companies and actually get ideas for the content that's actually valuable for us to create. Here's another one. We talk about expenses and budget calculators, right? For any planners, these are great tools because why would a company that has all this money, create all of these tools, right? We'll go through them in just a second again, but it's because people want them. It's valuable to people. So they're creating value for their customers or their prospects, right? So they can turn them into customers, because once you've given them value, it's much easier to transition them into a customer. And you're now focused on the value that you're giving them and not on the price, right? So this works, like we talked about. This works across industries. This is an article we ran for a dentist. Here's the best way to restore the look of your smile permanently. Read the full article here. Who's going to click on this? People who need help with this. This resulted in multiple large sales because I don't know if anybody's ever got teeth replaced. It's very expensive. And instead of saying, look at me, we're solving their problems, right? Same thing, a water company, a premium water company. Here are 5 reasons why you need to be drinking the good stuff. We're building intrigue into our headlines and talking about the 5 health benefits of alkaline water. Guess what? If we care about our health and we care about our water intake, we're probably going to read this article. Another one, adventure company, how to organize the perfect group event, right? This article alone got a 10x return on investment just from the article, because people need to know. These things are stressful. If we can solve their stresses, if we can help them solve their problems, they're going to trust us and they're going to want to do business with us. It's very, very simple idea, but yet you don't see very many people doing it, which is exactly why you will cut through the noise. So, types of content that you can create. A guide, right? You can create the ultimate guide to planning your wedding in whatever town you're in. The ultimate guide to picking your wedding playlist. The ultimate guide to the video and photo for your wedding, right? Budget calculators. Different videos that are going to give them information. I'm going to go ahead and jump out here, and we're going to go to the Knot to show an example. Look here, planning tools, checklist, budgeter, registry, guest list, wedding vision, wedding day timeline, right? Vendor manager. These are all things. If they're making these, they're probably worthwhile. So we click on checklists. People love checklists for weddings. If you have an ultimate checklist for somebody, look, they're making you sign in to get it. It's that valuable, and people are doing it. It's incentivizing people to create accounts on the Knot so that you can get your wedding checklist, right? If you look on the Wire, if you look in all these other websites, they're going to have these same things. So that's one thing you can be focusing on. Now, we're going to go back. As we load here, your goal with this content should be to provide actual value. We're not trying to hoodwink anybody. We're not trying to, trick anybody through clickbait. And we're not trying to just give a random piece of information because I heard this would drive traffic to my website. No, we want them to go to this and say, wow, that was actually helpful. That helps me feel less stressed. That helps me feel like I can get this done faster. That's what the types of things these people should, your prospects should be thinking. It should solve their problem. It should answer their question, and it should then build trust and show that you are the expert, right? All these things. So this should be your goal. If you write these things down, provide actual value, solve the problem and answer questions and build trust and show that you're the expert. So, how to come up with content ideas. Here's a few ways. We just showed you the Knot and other national wedding industry leaders, right? Go ahead and look at Google search, right? If you go to Google and we search wedding, right? You're going to get a lot of things, but you can see outdoor wedding venues in Idaho, Boise Depot wedding venues in Nampa, wedding venues. So, and you can start searching some of these things and you'll see what people are looking for, right? This is going to be extremely helpful to you in seeing what people are searching for. But really, if you're an expert in field and you've done this, because you get frequently asked questions. What questions are people constantly asking you? What are clients and your prospects asking you? What are things that prospects should be aware of before they get started, right? There's probably obviously things that you're always like, hey, just so you know, this is really important. These types of things is what you should be thinking about in creating your content. Now, taking action. All this information is useless without action. For every, one part of information, you should have 15 parts action. That's why we should be studying every day to grow our businesses. Our businesses don't grow themselves. That's why it takes an investment. And if you don't have a lot of money, that means you have to put in time and any other resources that you have, because there's no such thing as a return on investment without investment. And your business won't grow if you're just hoping and praying for customers or leads to come through or trying to take the easy route. So I know this probably isn't going to be easy, but go and create 3 pieces of valuable content. This may take you hours and hours, but it is going to be the most impactful thing you do if you don't have anything like this yet. And then what you want to do is create these pieces of content. Go ahead and share them in this group, in the Facebook group, to get feedback on them. People can help you out. We'll provide comments to give you some feedback. You want to host them on your website. So you want to take this, you want to post it on either your blog or create a page on your website so that you're sending people to your website. That's the goal. You want to send them to your website to view this piece of content. Pretty much every platform that you're using should have some sort of blog or page maker If you aren't familiar with these tools, get familiar with them. It is 2019, almost 2020. If you are not familiar with your website builder, you need to be. They make it so easy today with things like Wix or Squarespace, right? These are things that you need to learn. You can't be afraid of technology. I know it can be scary, but if you just take the time, we've taught a lot of people how to use this stuff, and anybody can do it. The next thing, if you aren't using Google Analytics, I'm going to send a link. If you're not using Google Analytics, we're actually going to talk about this in our next training. But if you're not using Google Analytics, you need to be. You need to be tracking. You need to understand what people are doing when they're on your website. And through Google Analytics, it's a free tool that you can set up on your website. You can see how long people are staying on your website. You can see, how many visits you got, how many unique users, what pages they're visiting, their behavior flow. Right? And when we set up Google Analytics and we send people to our new piece of content, right, we can see how long they're spending on the page. And if they're spending 30 seconds, that means they're not even reading it, right? They're just browsing it and they're leaving. But if they're spending a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, that's a lot of time in this day and age. Most people only get seconds of time, but you're going to be building that trust. That's huge, right? Then you're going to take your content and you're going to go on social media. You can post it on your pages. You can post it in groups. I promise you, if you're in groups and you're posting things, providing value for people is going to be better than just saying, hey, I can do that. If you say, hey, brides, this is something that you need to know before you do your wedding, I really highly recommend you read this article, right? Share with other leads that you have. Use this as a marketing tool. This is something that you should be able to go to a networking event even and just say, hey, we created this resource specifically for brides because we know you're going to have this problem. It's going to help you solve it. Here you go. You should be confident in handing it over to someone to say, hey, this is super valuable and helpful, right? This is a resource for you. So you could use it as a sales tool as well, right? If you end up talking to someone, you wouldn't just walk up to them and say, hey, I want to do business with you. And they start talking about their wedding, right? Be like, yeah, nice to meet you. This is what I do. Well, it's way better move to say, hey, it's nice to meet you. Actually, I just wrote this article about the music mistakes that you should not be making at your wedding. And I think it'll be really helpful when you guys decide on your playlist. You should check it out and let me know what you think of it, right? Then I follow up with that person and I say, hey, what'd you think of that article, right? It's a tool for you. Giving people value and resources is a tool. So this is very foundational. It's very versatile. We will talk about actually what you need to do to even blow this up. And we'll talk a little bit about that in the next training as well, and we'll build on this. But then what you're going to do is after you create these, so recap here, you're going to go create 3 pieces of valuable content. Post them in the group. Right? You can post the first one in the group and then go on and make your second one. You're going to put them on your website. You're going to set up your Google Analytics, which there's going to be a link down below on how to get started with Google Analytics. It's not that hard to set up, but it is going to take a little bit of time. Now you're going to share this everywhere you can to try to help people, right? To try to provide value to them to solve their pains and their problems. Then you're going to analyze this and you're going to make adjustments. So you're going to look, you're going to get feedback from people. You're going to say, hey, what'd you think of that? How can I make this better? Was that helpful for you, right? And we're going to make adjustments until our content is amazing. And eventually, you're going to have created a few pieces of content that we call anchor content, and you're going to be able to continue to utilize them, and you're not going to have to create content like that anymore. So you're just going to have some effort up front, and then you're going to be able to really, really use this. And when this content gets super valuable, which it's kind of sneak peek into this next training that we want to talk about is data that matters. So we want to talk more about the data. But once you can start basically putting a little bit of money behind this, instead of dumping your money into the knot or the wire and getting locked into one of those ridiculous year-long contracts that doesn't return anything, we want to show you, this is just a simple screenshot of just one of our accounts that we're running. I've used this a couple times, but we can start putting money behind this content and driving traffic to our website, right? Like this ad right here, we spent $190 putting out this valuable content, 179 people clicked on it, and then we were able to return almost $4,000 in revenue. This is what valuable content does. You can see here, this is our return on ad spend. So this is the amount of return that we got from our money. So 20 times 190 is 3,917. That's 20x return, 19x return, 18x return, 17x return. This is all very possible and it's doable. Obviously, it takes some work, but this is kind of what we're going to start getting into is some of these data points. But it's very important that we start taking action now and building resources to help people. I think this is probably one of the most powerful trainings that we'll release. If you just take this and you write this off, you're going to be in trouble in the future, I promise you, because the noise is just going to continue. And the only way to stand out is by, being a valuable resource for people. So the better you become at providing resources to your customers, because they're doing their research online. That's the way it is. By creating this content, it's also going to help a ton with your SEO. So when people are Googling, they're going to find you first, because this is just going to be, a massive amount of information for Google to use to serve up, your website to other people. This is going to be really, really big. If you have any questions, please leave comments. Let us know. We're happy to help. Hope you found this valuable, but please take this action. Maybe watch this again if you have to, but go create valuable content. Put it on your website. Start sharing it with people and let us know when it starts working.